And I'm with Josh in front of our seahorse display, and this is a relatively new species for us. We've only had this for a short while, and we're going to go in the back and see a really interesting part of the husbandry of this species. But Josh, tell me a little bit about the biology of seahorses.
Well, seahorses are mainly pelagic, which means they're middle of the water level, so they're free swimming during their smaller stages, and then as they're adults they attach to things like seaweed and gorgonians, different rocks and things like that. One of the most interesting things is they have such high metabolisms, which makes it hard for husbandry, so they have to be fed 3 times a day, which also means they have to be cleaned out 3 times a day. And they eat very, very small invertebrates, so they eat millions of them between all of them a day, so that makes it also a little bit.
So they're a pretty important part of the ecosystem, certainly, and the male and the female participate in raising the young.
They do. The males are the ones, obviously, that's the interesting part about them. They carry the babies. The females, when they're ready, females usually court the males, and then the males will respond, and then they accept the eggs from the females, and then the males will raise them up in a special pouch.
During this process, they use their tails to grab onto the seagrasses or whatever's in the area. And then how many young will they produce?
The species that we have, Hippocampus erectus, which is the lion seahorse, they can have anywhere from 50 to 500.
Wow. Well, now we want to go in the back of the aquatic center and see a very interesting process in the husbandry of the young. Well, now we're in the back of the aquatic center and looking at this very interesting process for raising seahorse. So Josh, tell me what we're looking at here.
This is called a pseudochrysal. It's built so that they never really have much contact time with the surface. If they do, they gulp air and they end up getting too much air in their systems and then die. So this keeps flowing motion around, and it's kind of like a washing machine, except for fish.
So, and this isn't easy to do. I mean, you guys have done a fantastic job here in not only figuring this out. I mean, I know these are done in other facilities, but you've got to start from scratch and figure this out. So approximately how many seahorses do we have right there?
In this one, there's just about under 100, believe it or not.
Wow. Wow. And how long will they stay in this unit before they move?
About a month.
Okay. And these are about how old now?
4 days old.
4 days old. So that's about 1/4 of an inch long, I would say. I'd say each one of them.
Yep.
And this circular motion, then what's the feeding process here?
Feeding, we actually have to hatch out all of our own brine shrimp so that they have small enough food particles to eat. So over the course, we probably hatch out about a full cup of hatched brine shrimp for all of our different seahorse fry, and we constantly during the whole day have food in there.
And then how will you move these from this tank to the next tank?
We actually have to siphon them up with a turkey baster so that they don't have any contact again with the air, and then squirt them into the new tank. And somehow acclimate them at the same time. Wow,
that's very interesting. A turkey baster to move them from this to the next. And so now the next aquarium we have next to us, how old are these?
These are just over 2 months now. And as you can see, they don't need the pseudochrysal anymore. They are strong enough to swim on their own and not go to the surface.
Okay, and then what are they eating at this point?
They're eating cyclopes and subadult brine shrimp.
And they'll stay, how long will they stay here now, and then will they transition out to the bigger aquarium eventually?
Eventually, if we have enough room in there, yes, they will. Otherwise, they go on to surplus.
Okay, go to another facility. Well, I mean, this is very interesting. This is not easy to do, and it's not on public display now. Perhaps at some time we can do that, but we're just perfecting this technique, which is very difficult. But this just gives you a little idea what it takes to raise seahorses in captivity. Thank you, Josh. This has been